The heavy slate-colored clouds drifting slowly over the rooftops of the neighboring brownstones promised that the first real snow of the season was on its way. Kailani Kai Reyes, 30 years old, stood by the window, twisting the gold wedding band on her finger. 5 years of marriage, a date that used to bring her joy, now filled her heart with anxiety. Her boutique design firm had just finished styling a luxury penthouse for a high-profile athlete, and a promotion was imminent. But that professional joy was overshadowed by the clouds gathering at home. Her relationship with her husband, Jabari J. Thorne, had cooled significantly lately. Jabari, head of marketing for a major tech company, used to be her self-proclaimed partner in a power couple. But lately, his late nights at the office were too frequent and his explanations too vague. Kai turned from the window. She had a tradition with Jabari, a candlelit dinner at home. She remembered they had bumped into each other at the same department store on their second date, both buying Christmas lights. She had already bought Jabari's gift, a first-edition book by his favorite Harlem Renaissance author, beautifully wrapped and hidden in the back of the closet. Pulling on a light denim jacket, Kai went downstairs to the spacious garage. As she pulled down the box of decorations, her elbow accidentally knocked against a large red metal toolbox. Something inside made a dull thud. She unlatched the lid. Inside lay a small, midnight blue velvet box. The lid clicked open, and Kai gasped. Resting on the velvet cushion was an exquisite white gold necklace featuring a teardrop pendant encrusted with deep blue sapphires and rimmed with small, sparkling diamonds. The jewelry shimmered, undeniably elegant and expensive. The chill that had settled in her soul over the past few weeks began to melt. He was planning a surprise, and his distant behavior was just stress. Kai carefully closed the box and went back up to the apartment. She started cooking dinner, her favorite R&B playlist filling the kitchen. At 7 p.m., the phone rang. "Hey, baby, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to be stuck here again tonight." Jabari's voice sounded tired and guilty. Kai felt disappointed, but the memory of the necklace softened the blow. "We'll celebrate another day," he promised. The next evening, Jabari returned late, smelling of alcohol and that same sweet, unfamiliar perfume. While he was in the shower, Kai, fighting her intuition, approached his phone. She unlocked it using his mother's birthday as the passcode. She opened a chat from a contact listed simply as L. The last message was sent 10 minutes ago. "Can't wait for tomorrow, baby. I want to feel your hands on me again. Kisses, your Lyric." Lyric. She scrolled further back. The messages were explicit, confirming an affair. Then she saw the message that made something inside her snap. "Are you really going to give me that sapphire necklace you talked about?" Lyric wrote. "Of course. I already picked out something special. You're going to love it. It'll be our little secret." The final, fatal blow. "For the wife, for our actual anniversary, I'll just grab some perfume set on sale. She won't even notice the difference." The room finally tilted. Kai grabbed the wall. The necklace was a gift for his mistress, Lyric Washington, a senior client relations specialist at his company. Kai put the phone back and walked to the kitchen. Later, alone in the guest bedroom, Kai let the tears flow as a farewell to her illusions. She wouldn't repeat her mother's fate. The plan began to form, cold, logical, and fair. The necklace was the key. The pain of betrayal had hardened into a cold, logical determination within Kailani Kai Reyes. She knew she couldn't forgive Jabari Thorne's cruelty, especially after reading his callous text about the cheap perfume set for his wife while preparing a $15,000 sapphire necklace for his mistress, Lyric Washington. Kai's idea was risky, but brilliant. Swap the original necklace with a perfect replica. She grabbed her phone and texted Donnie, her best friend who worked at a high-end jewelry store, asking to meet immediately. Donnie had worked at the store for nearly 10 years. At a quiet coffee shop, Kai laid out the devastating truth for Donnie: the affair, the texts, and the $15,000 necklace hidden in the garage toolbox. Donnie was stunned, but quickly offered support. Donnie immediately recognized the piece's quality. She confirmed the necklace looked like a high-quality, custom-designed piece featuring rare sapphires of that clarity and a diamond halo. Donnie estimated the piece cost at least $15,000. Kai needed Donnie's help to create the perfect fake. Donnie, whose boss, Mr. Otis, had gone through a messy divorce himself, enthusiastically agreed to oversee the project. Mr. Otis, known for his magic hands, promised a replica that would be impossible to tell the difference visually. The stones would be cubic zirconia and colored glass instead of sapphires and diamonds. The cost for Kai? About $600. Kai and Donnie agreed that Kai would sneak the original necklace out of the garage while Jabari was at work and bring it to the shop. Mr. Otis needed the original for only a few hours to take measurements. Donnie would personally oversee the creation of the replica, which could be done in 2 days. The next morning, making sure Jabari had left for work, Kai retrieved the original necklace from the toolbox and rushed it to the jewelry store. Mr. Otis examined the piece and confirmed they could do it, working with Donnie on the setting to meet the tight deadline. 2 days later, Kai returned to the shop. Mr. Otis proudly presented both the necklaces, the original and the replica. Kai was astonished. The 2 necklaces were absolutely identical. Mr. Otis warned that only a professional or a pawn shop would spot the difference. Kai paid Mr. Otis the $600 for the replica, acknowledging the immense moral satisfaction she was getting far outweighed the cost. She drove straight home, found the toolbox, and carefully placed the fake necklace back into the midnight blue velvet box. The original, real necklace she hid in her secret spot, an old jewelry box filled with costume jewelry, a place Jabari would never look. She knew she needed this switch. With the replica in place, Kai launched the final element of her plan. She downloaded a tracking app and patiently waited for Jabari to return. When he finally stumbled in, smelling of perfume and alcohol, he handed her his phone for charging. This was her window. She quickly installed the tracking app on his phone, setting it to hidden mode, ensuring she would know where he was at all times. She knew she would always know where Jabari was, not for safety, but so she wouldn't miss the moment he handed the fake necklace to his mistress. December 17th, the day of Jabari and Lyric's 6-month anniversary arrived, frosty and clear. Jabari was animated, telling Kai he'd be late for a client dinner. Kai's tracking app showed that the previous evening, Jabari had stopped by the garage for about 5 minutes, obviously grabbing the necklace from the hiding spot. She called work to take a personal day and began preparing. She packed a small bag with opera glasses, a thermos, and snacks. She was ready to witness the climax of her plan at L'Etoile. The stage was set for the climax of Kailani Kai Reyes's meticulous plan. It was December 17th, Jabari Thorne's 6th-month anniversary with his mistress, Lyric Washington. Kai, having secured the replica sapphire necklace and installed the tracking app on Jabari's phone, was ready to witness the transfer of the fake gift. Kai drove to the fancy French restaurant, L'Etoile, parking across the street where she had a clear view of the entrance and the window table Jabari had reserved. She settled in with her opera glasses, tea, and snacks. Jabari showed up at 6:45 p.m., punctual and visibly agitated. He checked his tie and went inside. Lyric arrived 20 minutes late, a stunning, confident woman in a tight red dress. Kai saw her rival in person for the first time. Through the window, Kai watched the couple. They ordered champagne and laughed, Jabari looking at Lyric with an adoration Kai hadn't seen in years. Nausea rose in her throat, but she forced herself to watch. This was her plan: and she needed to see it through to the end. After dessert, the moment of truth arrived. Kai raised the opera glasses. Jabari said something with a solemn expression, then reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out the familiar dark blue velvet box. Lyric squealed with delight. She hastily opened the box, and her face lit up with awe. She threw her arms around Jabari across the table, knocking over a flute of champagne. Kai quickly snapped several photos on her phone. Jabari helped Lyric put on the necklace. The fake sapphires sparkled in the restaurant lights almost as brightly as the real ones. The girl twisted around, showing off the jewelry, constantly touching it with her fingers as if disbelieving her luck. I wonder what you'll say when you find out the truth, Kai thought, taking a few more pictures. The couple stayed until closing. Then Jabari walked Lyric to a taxi, kissed her long and hard goodbye, and got into his own car. Kai didn't follow him. There was no need. She had enough proof. Now all that remained was to wait for the fake to be discovered. 2 days later, December 19th, their 5th wedding anniversary arrived. Jabari came home early with a bouquet of flowers, chocolates, and a bag from a popular bath and body store. "Happy anniversary, baby," he said, kissing Kai on the cheek. Kai feigned joy, hugging him with a smile. In response, she gave him the rare first edition book. Jabari was genuinely thrilled. Then it was his turn. He handed Kai the bag. She unwrapped the package, a set of 3 body mists and lotions in a festive box with a "buy 2, get 1 free" sticker barely scraped off. "How sweet," Kai smiled, feeling a mix of pain and malicious glee. "Very practical." "The lady at the store said they were the scents of the season," Jabari explained, missing her sarcasm entirely. That night, Jabari said, "I love you," before bed. Lies, Kai thought, but she smiled and replied, "You too." 6 days later, the storm broke. Jabari stormed into the house around 9 p.m., slamming the door. His face was twisted in rage. "I've been scammed, that's what," he hissed. He quickly covered, "Just business, bought a batch of watches for resale, turned out to be knockoffs." "To honesty," Kai proposed a toast, handing him a glass of cognac. "Want to see some photos from L'Etoile? Or maybe read your texts with Lyric?" Kai asked. Jabari's face went slack with shock. "I found the necklace you hid in the garage," Kai explained. "You went through my phone?" Jabari was indignant. "And you cheated on me with a coworker, which is worse. The necklace really is a fake. I have the real one," Kai revealed, pulling the original out of her secret spot. Jabari stared open-mouthed. "Tell her the real fraud is the man who cheats on his family." Kai instructed him to pass the message to Lyric. The confrontation was over, and Jabari Thorne was defeated, his financial and professional life exposed and targeted. Kehlani Kai Reyes stood firm, refusing to be drawn back into his web of lies and cheap sentiment. "I don't need his money," Kai had previously told her lawyer. Now, in front of the man who had destroyed her trust, she set her terms for the asset split. "I propose we split amicably," Kai stated. "I keep the sapphire necklace as compensation for emotional damages. We split the apartment and the savings 60-40. No alimony, no dragged-out court battles." This was more than fair, especially given the proof of Jabari's infidelity and dissipation of marital assets. "And if I don't agree?" Jabari asked hollowly. "Then public court with proof of cheating, witnesses, and a forensic audit of your finances," Kai countered, knowing the latter would expose his hidden offshore accounts and tax fraud, sealing his professional ruin. Finally defeated, Jabari slowly nodded. "Fine, I agree to the terms." The clean break and the new studio. "Great," Kai said, standing up. "Then I won't have to use the photos." She informed him she had already packed her bags, anticipating this outcome. She was staying at her mother's and would send her lawyer's contact info the next day to finalize the papers. Jabari was amazed by her foresight. Before leaving, she delivered the final blow concerning his mistress, Lyric Washington. Lyric, having taken the fake necklace to an appraiser, had already broken up with Jabari, unwilling to deal with a fraud. Kai told him, "Tell her the real fraud is the man who cheats on his family." The door closed behind Kai with a quiet click, leaving her husband alone with his thoughts and regrets. The divorce went through faster than expected. Jabari, contrary to fears, didn't put up obstacles and signed all the papers quickly. 2 months later, Kai was officially a free woman. They sold the apartment, splitting the money according to the agreement. She let him keep the luxury sedan in exchange for his share in a plot of land upstate. Temporarily, she rented a cozy loft in a converted warehouse district and fully immersed herself and created her business. She registered her LLC, found a commercial space, and developed the branding for her interior design studio. The work filled her time, leaving no room for sadness or regret. Miss Pearl, Jabari's mother, kept her promise, having always treated Kai well and provided referrals. Thanks to these, Kai got her first clients, even before the official opening of the studio. She hired 2 young designers and a 3D renderer, taking on the role of project lead. The studio's grand opening was set for late April. Kai's mom flew in to support her on the big day, squeezing her hand and saying, "You handled this so much better than I did back in the day." The divorce was over, and Kai Reyes, was officially a free woman. She had traded her crumbling marriage for financial autonomy and the beginnings of her interior design studio, which she knew was the true key to her happiness. She fully immersed herself in building her business. Miss Octavia Chen, Kai's lawyer, and Danny, her best friend, had been instrumental in securing Kai's future. Kai sold the apartment, splitting the money according to the agreement, and used her share, along with her savings, to launch her venture. She rented a cozy loft in a converted warehouse district, registered her LLC, and hired a small team of young, talented designers. Miss Chen kept her promise, providing excellent referrals, which helped Kai get her first clients even before the studio's official opening. She hired 2 young designers and a 3D renderer, taking on the crucial role of project lead and client relations herself. The studio's grand opening arrived in late April, a beautiful time when everything breathes hope. Kai's mother flew in from down south to support her on the big day, confirming Kai had handled the messy divorce so much better than I did back in the day. The presentation of their first completed project, the renovation of a historic brownstone turned into a boutique office center, was a massive success. Critics offered high praise, and the mixer generated useful connections. Kai, wearing an elegant turquoise power suit with a fresh silk press, accepted congratulations with dignity. No one would have guessed that just 6 months ago, this confident businesswoman was on the verge of a breakdown because of a crumbling marriage. The event was winding down when a deep male voice spoke behind her. "Exquisite work. Especially impressive how you blended the historical elements with modern solutions." Kai turned and saw Langston Bell, a tall man in his early 40s with expressive gray eyes and a neatly trimmed beard. He was an architect specializing in public spaces. Langston Bell, Line and Form Architects. "We focus mostly on public spaces, and I think we could collaborate. Right now, we want a bid to rehab the city park downtown. We need a talented designer for the interiors of the admin buildings. Care to discuss a potential partnership?" "I'd love to," Kai nodded. They agreed to meet next week to talk details, and Langston asked if it could be over dinner, suggesting a great spot with a view of the river. Kai hesitated. After everything that happened, she wasn't sure she was ready for a new relationship. But something about this man, his calm confidence, intelligence, and genuine interest in her work was appealing. "Why not?" she answered with a light smile. "I think we'll have plenty to talk about." Danny rushed over, clutching a glass of champagne. "Girl, that was Langston Bell, one of the best architects in the city. And judging by everything, he is very impressed, and not just by your design talents." Kai waved her off, but acknowledged the shift. Danny was right. She deserved to be happy with a man who appreciated not just her beauty, but her strength. That evening, after the guests left, Kai took the sapphire necklace, the original, real one she had hidden, out of her desk drawer. The necklace, the cause of so many tears and upheaval, now seemed just like a beautiful piece of jewelry. No bitterness, no pain, no regrets. She raised the glass with her colleagues, to new projects, to creativity, and to the freedom to be ourselves. She had found her own road now, completely free of Jabari Thorne. The studio's grand opening was a triumph, a testament to Kailani Kai Reyes's resilience and skill. The encounter with Langston Bell, the successful architect, was the first sign that her future might include more than just business. Kai and Langston met for dinner, as planned, at the spot with the river view. She was hesitant, still guarded after Jabari Thorne's betrayal, but Langston was different. They talked about work, life, plans, and books. He was cultured, had a sense of humor, and was genuinely interested in her work. Kai found herself surprised that she actually enjoyed his company. The connection felt natural, evolving slowly, and without the pressure or arrogance that had defined her previous marriage. They exchanged numbers, and Langston asked her to the theater. Thinking, why not? It wasn't a date, just a cultural outing. Kai accepted. While dating Langston, Kai's thoughts often returned to the wounds of the past, particularly her relationship with Dr. Silas Chen, Dr. Demetrius Cole, the oral surgeon at the dental clinic where she worked. Dr. Chen had become a confidant, a man who understood what it was to rebuild life after a broken family. "You know, Kai," Dr. Chen said one day, stirring his coffee, "the first year after my divorce, I thought my life was over, that I would never be happy again. Then I understood it wasn't the end. It was a new beginning, an opportunity to correct mistakes, to build something better." He mirrored the exact realization Kai had reached. He also confessed his own subtle hope. "And I even think I could fall in love again someday if I find the right person." Dr. Chen's simple honesty about the healing process helped Kai recognize the complexity of her own feelings. Love seemed distant after Jabari's lies, but time was healing. 2 more weeks passed. October was coming to an end, and the air was cold. Returning from work late, Kai saw a familiar, hunched figure near the subway station, Jabari Thorne, sitting in his worn-out sedan, waiting for a ride. He had aged in those 6 months, gaunt, with graying hair. "Hello, Jabari," she said quietly. "You look good," he replied with a hoarse voice. He confirmed he would go to his son's soccer match the following Saturday. Kai was about to leave when he asked the final, raw question. "Kailani, have you forgiven me?" "I don't know," she replied sincerely. "Maybe someday, maybe never, but I'm not angry anymore, and that is already a lot." She had found peace, and Jabari, having lost everything, was beginning his slow path to redemption through his son. Kai knew that freedom didn't arrive all at once. It arrived little by little, with every renovated room in her loft, with every day at her new job, and with every new acquaintance like Langston. Freedom is the capacity to face problems and choose one's own path. 6 months had passed after Vincent Cole signed the divorce papers and was forced into bankruptcy. The silence in the downtown loft was replaced by a hard-won peace. Eliza Thorne lived her new life, an administrator position at a private dental clinic, structuring her days, taking evening English literature courses, and training at the gym. A month prior, Vincent asked to see her. They met in the same park where they had taken Sam years before. He showed up dejected, haggard, having hit rock bottom. "Vesper, Eliza, I want you to know," he said, "that I was a complete idiot. I destroyed our family for an empty dream of wealth. I betrayed you and Sam, and now I am paying for everything." He confessed he had finally declared bankruptcy. His debts were liquidated, but he was banned from engaging in business activities for 3 years. He worked as a rideshare driver and lived in a rented room. Eliza looked at him calmly, without rage. "I'm sorry, Vincent," she said sincerely, "but it was your choice." He wasn't asking her to come back. "I just want you to know that I understood. Too late, but I understood. You were the best thing I had in my life, and I lost you." After that meeting, Sam agreed to see his father. Twice a month, Vincent took him for movies and park visits. Sam was thoughtful. "Mom, will Dad always be like this? So sad." "I don't know, son," Eliza replied honestly. "It depends on him, on whether he can handle what happened. But you know what? Being mad is normal. Feeling sorry is also normal." One cold October evening, returning from work, Eliza saw a familiar figure by the subway station. Vincent Cole, sitting in his worn-out sedan, waiting for a ride. He looked aged, gaunt, paying too high a price for his arrogance. "Hello, Vincent," she said quietly. "You look good," he replied with a hoarse voice. "How is Langston, Sam?" "Good. He's doing well in school. Joined soccer. He has a match soon. He wants you to go for real," Eliza informed him. "Of course," Vincent nodded vigorously. "I won't miss it." Eliza was about to leave when he asked the final question. "Vesper, Eliza, have you forgiven me?" "I don't know," she replied sincerely. "Maybe someday, maybe never. But I'm not angry anymore, and that is already a lot." 1 year had passed since the criminal trial of Mrs. Dolores Vance. Eliza Thorne had won her freedom and her dignity, finding a stable life with her son Sam. On a cold October evening, Eliza saw Vincent Cole working as a rideshare driver near the subway station. He looked aged, gaunt, paying the high price for his arrogance. When he asked her if she had forgiven him, Eliza replied sincerely, "I don't know. Maybe someday, maybe never. But I'm not angry anymore, and that is already a lot." Forgiveness wasn't forgetting the pain, but deciding to live without the poison of resentment. Vincent was now focused on Sam. He understood he had lost the right to their happy family, but he hadn't lost his son. He was clinging to the hope that if he made an effort and changed, Sam would trust him again. Eliza realized that she was no longer the orphan that her mother-in-law had scorned. She had found her own definition of family. Family isn't blood. It isn't a shared last name. It isn't an obligation you can't break. Family are the people who love you, who protect you, who choose you every day, again and again. She had a husband who stood by her side against his own mother. She had a daughter, Lila, who woke up with a smile every morning. She had a father-in-law, Langston, who came on Sundays and read books to his granddaughter. She had a friend, Ayana, who helped in every scrape. Eliza had paid all the debts of the past. She had won her life back and found a new serenity that sustained her. Did you like the story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you like the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to your comments on the story. On the screen, you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect.